From the Pentagon, we've got new video of airstrikes against ISIS. CENTCOM saying the strikes included attacks on an ISIS command post and a pair of tunnels and bunkers, all taking place in Iraq. Critics, however, continued to insist that the airstrikes will not finish the job. Retired Navy Captain Chuck Nash is one of them, Fox News military analyst and captain. Good morning to you and welcome back here to America's Newsroom. We're losing sight a little bit of the story. Midterm elections and all this talk about immigration. Let's get back to it. Your sources in Iraq tell you what about this current fight?
Well, what they're saying is that things are pretty static on the ground. We are trying to make some motions, but one of the biggest problems that we've got now is we have the Iranians on the ground advising the Shia militia, and they're doing some really terrible things, exacting revenge in cities that they're liberating, and they're sowing the seeds of hatred that'll fuel another war for another 100 years. So things are not going well. The Iranians are actually blabbing that on TV, praising the Iranian advisors to the Shia militia who just liberated a town in Hilla province. And in the meantime, out in the Anbar, in El Saladin, Diyala, Baghdad province, the kidnappings, murders, and arrests by government forces of Sunni are on the increase. So you've got these people that are being driven into the arms of ISIS. It's not really good.
Wow, it's in total turmoil based on that description.
Yeah.
There are very few reporters to bring us that.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, you've got to have sources in country who are monitoring things and seeing it for what it is.
Former Defense Secretary Robert Gates has been critical all week yet again. He's saying you can release all the videos you want, but unless you put special ops on the ground, you will not be able to defeat this enemy. What is your view on that now?
There is a guy, I think his name is T.R. Fernbach, who wrote This War about Korea and why nukes aren't the answer. You've got to have conventional forces. And he said, you can fly over a land, you can bomb it, you can pulverize it, but if you would go in and possess it, you must do as the Romans did and put your young men into the mud. Now, I'm not suggesting that we put American young men into the mud. We already have the people who have full investment in this, and that is the Kurds and the Iraqis. They're going to have to fight for their own freedom and their own survival. Right now, I think what they're doing is they're fighting to get the government forces out of their lands. They're using the ISIS as the tip of their bloody spear, and then as soon as they get some consolidation, then they're going to try to cut a deal with Baghdad. If that's successful, then maybe the political entity called Iraq survives. If not, it's going to break up into Kurd, Sunni, and Shia.
Well, one more thing Gates said, the ideological resistance to ground troops or special ops is where the president is now. Again, I don't see that changing, do you?
No, and I don't know that it's ideological. I think it's just a realization that this is not our fight. This is not for young men from the United States to spill more blood in Mesopotamia, trying to fight a fight that the people there aren't willing to fight themselves. This is their fight. We can support them as long as it means it meets U.S. national interests. But anything short of that, it's their fight. Let them have it.
Thank you, Captain. Chuck Nash with us out of Washington. Meanwhile, in Syria, we know of one more American that's being held. It's a woman. She's age 26, and we are hoping the best for her, certainly. Thank you. Chuck Nash in Washington, D.C.
You bet.